Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Grand Rising, and thank you all for joining us for another exciting Thursday morning on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. We are in fact global, and we're going to introduce you to some exciting guests today because we're expanding our Female Solution Global Radio TV show team, and you're going to meet some fabulous women that are going to really expand your world. So we'll be right back, and you're going to get ready for a serious look at how to get back to nature as we introduce to you Nature-Based Talks with Angela. And then we're going to continue to travel further around the globe with Global Talks with Zanna. So we'll be right back after this quick break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Yes, get ready to sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money. This is what it's all about today. We are looking at expansion into the global marketplace and the global society. And we've got a global message. And we're so excited today because, as always, we are growing and expanding, and we want you to get ready for some nature-based talk because we're going to be continuing to bring you a healing message every single day of the week. And we want to get ready for the lineup launching this month. It's an exciting opportunity for us to tap into that wonderful wealth of information, that wealth of insight of all of our wonderful women that are around this world. So, launching in May, we've got 2 new members of our team, and you're going to meet them today. One of the reasons why we continue to grow and expand is because we know that this world is going through a transformation, a different thought. This is a time for us to begin to change the world we live in from the way it is to the way it should be. And yes, we've got some wonderful technology that we can make life easier with, but the foundation to everything is the earth. It's Mother Nature that brings us everything we need to heal our minds, bodies, and spirit. And sometimes we forget and we get steered off into another course based on our lack of understanding. So on Thursdays, you're going to get a chance to hear some nature-based talk. And we're so excited because we've discovered a fantastic individual that you need to know, because she can share information that's going to change your life. And we want to introduce you to her today. And next week, we want you to get ready for nature-based talk with Angela. So let's bring her center stage with her beautiful shining face. Grand Rising.
Hello, how are you?
I am fantastic. So excited for you joining our Female Solution Global Radio TV show team and bringing some real youthful energy.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, it's wonderful. And don't y'all just love her teeth? Just beautiful, shining.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you know, I really look forward to hearing your insight. And one thing I'm noticing that there is kind of a growing mindset, especially among that millennial generation, that really is bringing us back to where we should be, and reverencing the earth, the great natural ways of living that used to keep us healthy and living a long life without a lot of aches and pains. And, you know, unfortunately, it's become part of our culture to expect to age and degenerate and have to rely on a bunch of pills and potions and all these things that are artificially made. And we don't realize it's really aging us even more. So now tell us a bit about your background and how you got involved in nature-based living. Tell us about that.
Yes. So I was raised like most other people that look like us. You know, get up, you maybe go to the gas station, get some donuts or grab some coffee, leftover pizza for breakfast. You know, I would have my outside moments where I would run and play and drink water hose water. And, you know, I had those good fun moments. But over time, things just didn't align. Very early on, I knew something was off. Very, very early on. When I was younger, one thing that I would notice was maybe a lot of my friends would, you know, maybe sleep in or do whatever they did, but I would want to go take walks. And sometimes I would just take walks throughout the neighborhood, and I would come back and just journal what I saw and just journal my thoughts. And I always had this idea like, man, like I should like tell people these things that I observed, because early on as a child, I caught on that some people aren't noticing this. Like something's getting missed. It's right in front of their eyes, but they aren't seeing it. It's right there. So I grew up, and then I started having these body issues. When I would eat things or consume things, they wouldn't digest. And I didn't know they wouldn't digest. I just thought it was normal. I thought it was normal to eat food and, then get bloated or have the urge to take a nap or have these indigestion issues where you can't go to the bathroom for weeks. Like I thought it was normal to go to the bathroom once a week. I didn't know that was abnormal. So as time went on, and I'm just like, man, I was trying to handle it myself. And the first handling I had was to just eat one meal a day. And I would eat something safe like chicken and rice or like spaghetti, like something that I knew would not trigger me, because anything that was fried, any weird fish, anything that was like dipped in sauce and cheese and gooiness, it always just made me just feel terrible. And I didn't realize that not only was it taking a physical toll on me, it was taking an emotional toll on me. I didn't realize that the moodiness, the attitudes that I would have, the mood swings, the 1 minute being willing to do something, the next minute, like, nah, leave me alone. I didn't realize that it was all coming from what I was putting into me, because I was putting things that were pretty much low energy. I was putting low energy things into me, like processed foods and processed drinks and, just fast food that's fried really fast. And it's just like dropping in the grease for 5 minutes. There's not a lot of love and care that goes into something that just, you can cook in 5 minutes most times. So then I met someone, and this person suggested that maybe I should try being vegan. I didn't know what vegan was. This was about 7 years ago. I thought it was just the same as a vegetarian, and that person told me that no, it's an extra step. So vegans don't eat anything that comes from animals, not any milk, not any cheese, dairy, anything. So I gave it a try, and it was a gradual thing. I didn't jump into it overnight. It was gradual. So I would gradually start with like chicken. I cut out chicken first. Did that for a couple months. Then I cut out beef and then pork, and it just went on and on until I built up my stamina of not eating meat, my that little muscle. You need a little muscle to not eat things that you've eaten for 20 plus, 30 plus years. So as I began to change what I put into my body, my perspective, my outlook on things began to brighten up, because I started putting brighter, cleaner things into me. My view just widened a little bit. And then I realized, people aren't thinking right. Not only are we not eating right, but the thing that makes us eat the way we do is because we think the way we do. And so if you can make a change in a person's thought process and change their perspective, if they agree to change it, if they're willing to change it, then a much bigger change can happen. So I'm really glad to be alive in this generation. This is a great time to be alive. I'm glad that I caught this wave when I did, and to be a part of this movement of helping people return to their natural selves. So nature-based living isn't all just about food, because food is one part of the problem. The other part is our mindset about things, our willingness to change, the information that we have to even think with. Very often we have wrong information coming in, so we're going to do quote unquote wrong or nonsensical things as an outcome. So that's one of my goals, is to help us just return to our natural selves. And like you said earlier, the earth, this world has everything we need to survive. Like this is our planet. Like this is ours. Everything that grows outside is rightfully ours. So we just have to go use what's ours so we can be our best selves.
Absolutely. Well, I have made, I guess, the transition from eating meat to vegetarian, but I haven't gone the extra step to vegan yet. Mm-hmm. And like you say, and it's hard to give up old habits. One of the biggest things, the struggle for me, even giving up meat, was giving up chicken wings, because I love chicken wings. And it it took a while for me to let that go. But, like you say, you begin to even feel the difference, not just in your body, but in your mind, the clarity of thought. And, and I'm not picking on people who eat meat, because, you have a right to consume whatever you like. But it was described to me by somebody who, of course, is vegan, and said, why would you want to eat a corpse? And that just grossed me out so bad. I'm like, ew, and I'm trying to get to that point where I'm not eating any animal products. But, again, I understand animals come from nature and all that sort of thing. But energetically, eating live foods raises your vibration, and you're not carrying not only dead flesh, but the fear energy that came with an animal raised the way many of our animals we consume are raised. Not in a nice family atmosphere with a farm and you're raising your children, you got the calf and the cow and, the bull, and everybody's happy, and chickens with the rooster. No, these are animals that are raised in confined spaces, a life of distress, and knowing that you're basically being prepared for slaughter. That the energy of that is in that animal's flesh, and you're eating that. And now, I mean, there are people who eat farm-raised animals, and the animals were, raised comfortably, and they lived out their lives in a normal family setting. And that might be better. And, there are people who make that choice. But that it's kind of rare to even find those kind of animals. And I just, when somebody said to me about eating a corpse, that just kind of grossed me out so bad. I'm like, I can't eat anything dead. And even though all things are alive, plants are alive too. But it's different. And, I've really been studying a lot of plants that we kill naturally just because we think, oh, well, these are weeds. I need my lawn to look nice and pretty. Yeah, but a lot of these plants that you're killing carry in them the remedy for a lot of what's malfunctioning in our bodies. And I find that so fascinating because Mother Earth knows what we need, and she knows what she needs, because a lot of the plants that grow is to replenish the soil of nutrients that we've robbed it of it because we're growing these, nice, pretty lawns, but it takes away a lot from the earth. So I'm enjoying learning things and changing a whole perspective, because I grew up in the city, I mean, we visited our grandparents' farm when I was a child. But as far as where I get my food, hey, the grocery store and wrapped in a package or a box, or, so just like most city dwellers, I did not know the connection really between the earth and our food, and not in a real sense of appreciation until I started doing some farming. So what was the experience like for you when you began to change your lifestyle, your perspective? Did you find a lot of your friends were like, well, come on, let's, go and get some donuts. Oh, you don't eat that anymore. Oh, I mean, how did you handle that?
So that was very much so the experience. The first couple Thanksgivings were a little like, are you okay? Like, you good? But one of the things that I first began to notice was that I could be okay. So as crazy as this might sound, I thought that I couldn't live without meat or dairy. Like I'd never seen it. So when you don't see it and experience, it's not real to you. Yeah. Like someone living without eating eggs for breakfast or butter, it's like, you're going to die. And people would say that to me jokingly, but in my mind, because I'd never seen it, I almost took it literal. Like, man, I might die if I got to eat a little chicken, but, but once I swallowed that fear pill, and again, I just took it one step at a time. And for me, cutting out chicken first. Here's why I cut out chicken first. I ate chicken more than anything. So in my mind, it was almost like a little reverse You know what I'm saying? Mind game with myself. Because in my mind, if I could cut out the one thing that I rely on the most, I could cut out everything else.
Ah,
So when I proved to myself that you can cut it out, and I just replaced it with beans, or, just kind of maybe ate a little extra beef, or, some turkey bacon, just to kind of
mm,
make sure I stayed alive a little bit, because I still wasn't 100% like
yeah.
convinced I wouldn't die. So once I got over that fear, I began to notice like it's okay. And when
Mm,
like that certainty that it's okay kind of set in, like little bit by little bit, I was like, okay, now I can take another step. But I had to instill it in myself by taking a chance with myself. And then
ah,
in the worst case scenario, if I felt like an adverse reaction, it's like, okay, well then just like go back to normal. But I didn't
mm,
feel any adverse reactions.
um,
I didn't feel anything bad. If anything, I felt better. Like I was able to eat and my food would digest. And
mm,
I was able to eat and not get bloated, or these different things. And the way a lot of my peers and family members reacted was like it was a shock, because
mm,
not only am I a city girl, I got a lot of connections to the South. I lived in Montgomery, Alabama for about 5, 6 years. So down there, vegan was what? Vegan was you are out of your mind. You
yeah.
are absolutely crazy. So a lot of my
Mm.
friends, like, they say you look sick when you start losing weight.
Isn't that funny how people?
So,
Yes.
yes, I would get a lot of "you look sick" jokes, or it was
Oh
like,
my.
"No, I'm just kinda losing some of this dead weight, like, I'm just kinda
Mhm.
cleaning up my act." But it was really just a matter of, like, kinda maybe just laughing with it a little bit at first, because I wasn't prepared. I thought everybody would be happy for me because I was doing something positive and making a change for the better. But they were like, "Girl." So, like, the way I dealt with it was, like, initially, I would just kinda laugh and joke with them, or just kinda like, "Hey, but, like, here's some information. Here's a fact for
Mm,
you actually about eating chicken. Here's a fact about eating beef." And once I noticed they weren't buying into the program, they weren't really ready to change their lifestyles.
mm.
And once they realized that I wasn't budging, then like the little jokes began to stop.
Oh,
And they just was like, all right, that's just Angela. That's just who she is now. So whatever.
but now, how did you handle it when because you want to socialize, you want to go places, but then, like, family cookouts and everything, and there's nothing there you can eat,
Mhm.
because everything that all the vegetables got meat in it, and just the whole thing. How do you handle that when you go to an event and there's literally nothing that you can eat, and everybody, well, would you like some chicken, would you like some greens with uh fat back in it? All,
Mhm.
how do you handle that?
I just eat before I come.
Now that makes sense. That makes sense.
That's the simplicity of that. Once
Just
I started noticing that the food wasn't accommodated for me, and people weren't going out of their way to make an extra dish just for one person, because
yeah.
who want to do all this work because you want to be different. That's what I used to hear a lot too. You wanted to not eat meat. We like eating meat around here. It's like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna force it on you. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna eat before I leave. I'm gonna eat before I leave the house.
I'll have
That's
to
it.
start doing that, because it's
That's it.
you go to an event and you can have potato chips. That's about it.
Yeah. And if that was
Um,
the only option, if I would eat before I leave, if that was the only option, then I would just nibble on some chips just to not, just so I can kind of,
blend it a little
eat
bit.
a little
Okay.
bit,
Yeah.
like join in. But it's like I'm not hungry, so I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
So you guys carry on.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I know that also once you become aware of products, and my daughter, she's extremely health conscious. She does yoga and all that, and she's into cleaning solutions that aren't toxic and all of that. So, I mean, we went shopping one day, and I'm one of those people. I have not really been that aware of ingredients and products. So, I look down the aisles and I look for what's on sale. Oh, okay,
Hmm.
buy one get one free. Okay, we getting that brand. Okay, sale, oh, half off. Okay, getting that brand. And she was like, no. And because we had a list of like 20 things. And every time I picked up something, she said, oh, wait a minute. And she'd look at it and look at the ingredients. Oh, no, put that back. I'm like, really? No, see, it has this and that. Oh, okay. So, I mean, this was a challenge for me the first time we had that experience because it was like, okay, we've been in this store for an hour. Mm-hmm. And we got a list of 20 things and ain't but 5 things in this basket. Mm-hmm. But I had to respect the fact that she was health conscious, you know, and
yeah.
And so I'm looking at this detergent or something, and it said something like organic something or other, and I'm like, okay, this got to be okay. All right, let me grab this, and it's on sale. Okay, let's get this. She's like, what? Wait. Well, I don't know. Well, let me. And then she goes on her phone. Well, let me look at the reviews, and then she goes through the phone and gets the reviews, which I don't do that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, no, this is not good. They have really bad reviews. Put it back. But, you know, I had to understand that this is really for my betterment. So I'm like, oh, my God, shopping with a health-conscious millennial. Can I get through the day? Eventually, we were able to get all the products. And then some of the stuff was like off brands that I had never, even noticed. Mm-hmm. And some you might have to pay a little more, not a whole lot. But I realized you can't just go shopping based on a dollar figure. If you really care about your health, you have to look at what the ingredients are. You have to know what's toxic. And if you're going to live that lifestyle, it means everything from what you put on your body to what you put in your body. So, it was a challenging experience, but I'm grateful that she, stuck to her guns. Look, you have to know what you're using and pay attention. Take the time to read the labels and get the reviews and make sure it's something healthy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. that ties into like that mindfulness of things that I noticed when I was a kid. Things are right in front of our face, but we don't see it.
Yes.
Because they put it on the back of the bottle. They never put it on the front of the bottle.
They don't.
It's always on the back.
A little bitty print,
that's right.
What?
Right.
Yeah, because they don't want to see it.
And no one wants to spend the time because you can't pronounce the words.
Right.
You don't know what it means. You don't know what it stands for. And not only that, but we haven't our education system hasn't taught us how to decode things, how to look up the meanings of words.
Yes.
Many people don't even know how to use a dictionary. They just think if they can sound it out, they know what it means.
That's right.
So we have been miseducated. So it's very easy for us to walk around with blinders in front of our face because we can't read what's in front of us. We can't communicate with it. We don't understand it. So then the next thing we do, we look at the colors, we smell it, see how it smells. Mm-hmm. Then we just look at the price and we make our decision based off that because we don't have the right information. Yeah. So like being with somebody like your daughter is painstaking as it can be, because I do understand. But
like, oh my God, we're not gonna get out of this store.
Yeah. But I've noticed once you notice those ingredients once or twice and you take that time and invest a couple extra minutes, just in the beginning, when you see it again in the future, you just know. So now your knowledge has increased. So your confidence in yourself, your confidence in your ability to make good decisions increases because your knowledge increases. And even if it is from toilet cleaner to laundry.
Yes. That is true. And that's one of the things that I have noticed, that when you look at your cleaning solutions and you start seeing things that are toxic, you have to switch brands because it's slowly making you sick. Mm-hmm. We got to take a quick break and we'll be back. We want you to get ready for Nature Bates Talk with Angela every Thursday here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And we'll be right back after this quick break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. So just stay with us.
Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Blog Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and I'm so excited because today we're introducing you to two new members of our Female Solution team, bringing us some wisdom that you need to know. Of course, every Thursday, you are going to hear nature-based talks with Angela. And then coming to us live from the UK, we are going to hear Global Talks with Zanna. Now, of course, you know, we've got a Zanna from the UK, and she'll be, as we heard yesterday, coming on the every first Wednesday of the month. And our Shop with Zoe is going to be on every second Wednesday of the month. So we're going to keep bringing you some fabulous women that are willing to share their knowledge and enhance your life. So, of course, as we bring back Angela, we're going to introduce to you our other new host. And of course, Angela, one of the things that excites me about your coming with us, and, you know, and I believe in the wonderfulness of age and wisdom, but we need the youthful perspective. We need that person who's caring about the planet, because they're going to be here longer, living in it and experiencing the effects of how we handle it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and even even with the challenges of all of the misunderstandings that bring conflict, because you grew up in the information age where information is literally at your fingertips, you think differently. Just like my daughter, going shopping, and I would never thought to let me look up the reviews and see if other people said this was a good product. I just never would have thought of doing that. And this is the way she lives. I'm going to see what is appropriate, what have other people said. And it's a powerful thing because it also helps you understand that what you do, if it's not done right, people can tell other people. Mm-hmm. And then you will not prosper in business. So you can't just give people garbage. Yeah. And I think that's one of the most powerful things about the times that we live in now. And
I agree.
Yes, absolutely. Well, one of the other things that makes me happy is as our global family continues to connect, we're realizing that we're more alike than we are different.
Yeah.
And that's why, it's really been every week we've been hearing so much about Asia, which we had no understanding about, than what we saw in the news, and really seeing that this is economic opportunities. Mm. And then realizing that so much of what happens in the world, we get a distorted perspective because we're living here in America. Mm-hmm. And we get a perspective that's very much edited, and you don't know until you leave the world.
Yeah.
Now, when I went to London a few years ago, and I saw what an international city it is. Mm-hmm. Chicago is too, but we're real segregated. We don't really interact as much with
That's true.
Other neighborhoods. But there in the UK, you can take a train for a couple hours and be in another country. Mm-hmm. And it makes a difference. So we're going to be bringing every first Saturday of the month Global Talks with Zanna. And she's got literally connections from all over Nigeria, Ethiopia, Kenya, everywhere. And we're going to get a chance to really listen. But now you're a person who probably grew up in an age where traveling around the world was nothing.
Yeah.
Have you done a lot of travel, and how did it change your perspective?
I have traveled a good amount. I have a lot more traveling to do. Mm-hmm. I haven't done as much international travel, but it did open my eyes up to see that there are different ways you can live amongst different people. If all you know is just, living around your kind and, seeing the corner stores and, the certain style of housing, then that's maybe all you would gravitate towards, or maybe that's all you want. But when you begin to see differently, feel different climates, experience different musics and dances and patterns and textiles and things like that, then what you want, what you create in your mind for yourself begins to change. And to me, it has changed for the better in the way that I know Chicago doesn't have to be the only place I call home. If I want to go live in Texas, I could easily, I'm like, oh yeah, Austin is beautiful. I would live in Austin, no problem. So I just know, and I've expanded my options of wherever I want to exist if I choose to exist somewhere else.
That's powerful. Because, when we were growing up, we just really had a lot of fear because we had been bombarded with propaganda. Mm-hmm. And my daughter, Zakia, I've been talking about you this show. Oh well. But she, when she went abroad to live in South Korea and to teach English there for 5 years. First, she studied a while. She is fluent in Korean now. Nice. And she went abroad, and she had been there for like 2 years. And finally, she said to me, "Ma, I've been here for almost 3 years." And she said, "You haven't come to visit me yet." And I'm thinking, "Oh, I got to take a plane over the water." Oh my God, because I didn't realize I was really a little bit traumatized by 9/11 and the whole thing. And I had not. It'd been 10 years since I had taken a flight after that. And I said, I got to face my fear. And she said, "Well, Ma, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. It doesn't matter if you're flying or walking." I said, "Oh, wow, okay." let me take this plane ride. And it was a really joyful experience.
Yeah.
And people were so nice.
Yeah.
And they treated me special because, I mean, I look kind of different, you know. We know you're not from here. But it was a nice experience. Mm-hmm. And I was glad I broadened my horizons. But I also, and now my daughter, she's got this job. Zakia flies all over. She's been to like 25 different countries.
Oh, nice.
And she just has no fear. You know, she get up, I vacationed in Malaysia. Oh, I went to Indonesia. You know, nothing, you know, no fear at all. And I said, this is a wonderful thing that this generation has. They don't have a fear of going to other countries, meeting other people, learning other languages. And that's what's going to make our world better.
Yeah. I agree. I just saw mountains. I experienced mountains for the first time 2 years ago. I lived my whole life and I hadn't experienced mountains on the West Coast. So going to California, I was like, oh my God. It was in their houses. People build houses on top of mountains. And I'm like, how much money do these people have? Because this is beautiful.
I know.
It's beautiful. It's so yes.
Scenery. So before we bring out, we got two international ladies waiting in the wings. Before we bring them on so we can get to know members of our team, tell us how you felt when you first went to a place where maybe the living was more nature-based, where you could see people living like in the mountains, you say, you know, close to nature, and life was maybe less hurried. How did it make you feel?
So when I went to Mexico a few years ago, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I mean, I was bike riding through the jungle. There were mangoes on the ground, lizards, and just to see how comfortable people were like walking around barefoot. It was like, okay, whatever, you know, to see that there wasn't as much obesity. It wasn't a lot of big people. You might have saw a little stomach here and a little extra hip there, but it wasn't nothing to really be like, that person, you need to slow down on that eating. It was just like, okay, whatever. People's skin just had a natural glow without the need to put on makeup or buy these skincare products. Like, skincare products weren't really a huge market. Like, it's a thing, like, yeah, put some moisturizer on, but it's not like, here's something that can make your skin better, because in actuality, what's making their skin better is being outside, being in the sun, eating more fruits and fresh vegetables than they do processed foods. So it was just like, this is still a thing, and you can still have nice clothes and get dressed up and go to the city and, you know, still look like whatever you want to look like, but there's a balance. So to me, when I experienced what I experienced in Mexico in comparison to like other cities, it just reaffirmed to me, like, it's just balance. You don't have to go barefoot, all green goddess and or whatever 24/7, but there does need to be some connection, and that connection, it just keeps you more well-rounded and like grounded in who you truly are and what you truly are, so that this earth as a whole can just elevate. So that's one thing I learned the most.
Yeah. That is amazing. You know, they have a name for walking barefoot now. They call it earthing. Whereas now, when my mother grew up, she grew up in West Virginia, and everybody walked barefoot. That's just how it was. And, you know, we looking at, oh, they're poor, they don't have shoes on. Now, you know, sophisticated people taking off their shoes. Oh, so I'm earthing. You know,
Yep.
I've been doing that.
I've been doing that. I used to get yelled at for doing that. You ain't doing nothing new.
But that's one thing that I noticed, though. There's a difference when you are living close to the ground, hands in the soil. You know, it's just a different kind of peace and tranquility. And I gotta say, before I bring on our other wonderful members of the team here, you know, yesterday, you know, my good friend, Dr. Quentin, Chief Tamba Taylor, the Alexander, took us on a bike ride. And I thought we was going to, you know, ride along the lakefront, maybe make a few circles around. We went all the way downtown and back. I'm like, oh my God. But it was it was nighttime. It was really beautiful.
Oh, wow.
The night sky, the lakefront, and just it was such a peace.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. this is how you should be able to live. Just
Yes.
see the sky, the stars, the trees, commune with the grass and everything, and just relax. And I just felt it's like the tension left my body, which I didn't even know was there. And one thing that I learned that we need to do more of that. I think we spend too much time in our cars and not enough time walking or, riding a bicycle. And I'm like, okay, am I gonna be able to get up for this show in the morning? Because we was, 5 hours of bicycle riding. But it was actually, I feel better physically.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is really how you stay young. And I've even, and like you're saying, with people not being obese in other countries, they walk a lot, they ride a lot. When I was in China, I mean, there was bicycles everywhere. That's how people lived. They rode everywhere, and you didn't see obesity.
No.
Yes. So I know you're gonna have to leave us soon. So before you leave, I want to bring in these other wonderful ladies.
Okay.
And I'm excited because we're going to get ready for Global Talks with Zanna, Grand Rising. And we're going to get a chance to see and hear her every first Saturday of the month. And this is exciting because Zanna has such a global reach, and she's going to give us an opportunity to meet some people from all over the world. And that's always been my vision, to connect us so that we don't have fear and we're not hating people that we don't know simply because we haven't heard their story. And that's exciting. Yes. So welcome, Zanna, to the Female Solution Team. Oh, I think you're muted. Yes. So I'm going to make sure you unmute there. And then, of course, we've been getting some trips to China vicariously through our dear sister. As we shop with Zoe, we've been getting a chance to really understand, and which I think is important, understand how commerce is changing. Mm-hmm. And rather than being afraid of a country that took the time to develop their education system and get their children prepared to be global citizens, we need to work with them. So, yes, thank you, Zoe Ma, for giving us a chance to go to China. And I'm excited because we've got a project where we're actually preparing students at Betty Shabazz International Charter School. We've been teaching podcasting. We've connected them to students in school at a private school in China. They had a chance to really see. And what was interesting, you talk about nature. These children had a pond with ducks at their school, and our inner city were like, oh, what? Yeah. So when you think about that, and you think about how our children don't get regular exposure to nature in a natural way, all we get is concrete. So, Angela, how do you feel about what we need to do to change the environment that our children experience? Less artificial things, more. I mean, I think classrooms should be held outside sometimes. Yeah. I think, let children take off their shoes and walk in the grass. I mean, and let them examine the plants, know what they are, look them up, what their uses are. Let them sit under a tree, have classroom out under the sky. I think it would make such a difference in their behavior because it's a different environment. You get a chance to smell, natural air. Mm-hmm. And nobody's hollering at you all the time. Sit down, sit down. Mm-hmm. But what do you think about that? Do you think we can develop schools that have that kind of curriculum, that kind of atmosphere?
Absolutely. But I think it's going to start with people who actually want to see that change. I think one thing that would benefit the American school system is not being in such a rush. Our kids, and this is speaking from personal experience, were jam-packed with just words coming in at us. from 7 a.m. to 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And there's no real time for the child to just be, to think for themselves, to observe, to have their own realizations about things. So they don't even get to use that muscle to think for themselves. So I think even changing the environment of what they can observe by having ducks or bigger windows or just real periods of outside time. We would get recess in preschool as a means to tire us out so we can go take a nap. But recess needs to be throughout high school. I'm sorry. I need my seniors to get some recess.
Yes.
Even though,
Yeah.
yeah. So like
That makes
recess
a lot
doesn't
of
just have
sense.
it doesn't have to be just a way to just burn off energy, but like observation is a form of education. And I feel like the American school system doesn't implement that. And maybe who was ever making decisions in these American school system, boards and councils and whatever, maybe those people don't realize that because they never had the chance to just observe and just think for themselves and be. So it's like, well, what can we teach them? What can we teach them? But it's really like, well, what can we give them that they can realize and learn for themselves?
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion. I'm not a fan of the American school system. I'm a product of it, but I've also a product of my own observation, and I've realized I've learned a lot more on my own than my 12 years of American education.
Like that thought. And I think probably I learned more outside of school than inside of school. I mean, in terms of knowledge that was helpful. I think
Yeah.
the majority of the things we force our children to learn are absolutely useless. Useless pieces of information they'll never need for anything at all. It doesn't help them survive. It doesn't help them know how to get along with people. It doesn't help them think or invent or plan or organize their lives. It helps them do nothing. So you make them feel bad because they don't memorize useless pieces of information. And then you send them out into the world where all of this useful information has no value at all. And then you tell them what a failure they are. That's pretty horrible. So yeah, we need to change that. And that's why we're here. That's why
it'll get changed. I believe it.
Change. That's why this is the female solution. I mean, man, we're gonna work with y'all, but we're the life givers, and we need to create a better society for our children and grandchildren so that they can live a nature-based life.
That's right.
Yes, I love that so much. Well, before you go, because I know you've got a busy day today, give us some last words. What can we expect next week as you bring us some nature-based talk with Angela?
Next week, you can expect just an introduction of who I am, just a little bit more in depth of my backstory, some of my experiences and what brought me here. But going forward, you can expect to hear a lot of different little things that are going to help you return to your natural self. Nature-based living just isn't about fruits, vegetables, and herbs, but it is about returning to your natural self. And maybe it's some conversations everybody might not be ready to confront, because a lot of these conversations are conversations you have to have with yourself first. So whether you're ready, just tune in and just trust and believe that you are in sync with this show and me for a reason, because that's just your cue to rise up. And I'm going to help you rise up. I'm going to help you come out of this concrete, radiation filled, click, thumbs, double heart. I'm going to help you separate from that just a little bit so you can realize who you really are and what your real purpose on this earth is, because we all have a natural purpose. And that's what nature-based living is it's getting in tune with our natural purpose and using natural tools, methods, and ways to get there.
All right. Fantastic. Well, you heard it here, right here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And we are excited because we're going to hear some nature-based talk every Thursday with Angela.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm really looking forward to people beginning to transform their lives as they are made aware of what's here for them and all of us right here on the earth. Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break and come on back with our dear sister, Zoe Ma. And we want you to meet Zanna, live from the UK. He's going to be coming to us live every first Saturday of the month. and you're going to hear some global talks with Zanna. So we'll be right back. And of course, we want you to stick and stay, don't stray away. And as you can see, as we grow and expand, our Female Solution logo is giving you some insight on all of the fabulous women that are helping us to grow and expand. And we're excited because we know that ultimately we're all one family. And once we get to know each other, there's no fear, there's only love. We'll be right back, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly calls the world peace a restoration of life, transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I'm Director Genesis Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
All right. We are back, and you're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and we're excited because we are growing and expanding. And as you've seen, our logo includes 2 new faces because we're going to bring you some exciting information. Now, of course, we're going to still be shopping with Zoe every second Wednesday of the month. And you need to get ready because you can actually be a global entrepreneur with what the world is offering now. And we need to learn a little bit more about our neighbors in China. You know, the politics of the time is so fear-based, but really, we're all one family. And we can work together. We don't have to compete. We can cooperate. So we need to see the world differently now that we're all connected together with today's technology. There's no reason for us not to talk to each other all over the world. And bringing us some insight with guests from all over the world is our new first Saturday host, Zanna. So we're excited. She's going to be joining us live from the UK. Look at that beautiful face. Grand Rising. Thank you so much for being with us and introducing us to you so that we can get a perspective.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Oh, well, you know, it's funny because our host, Zanna, who's going to be joining us every first Wednesday of the month now, I thought, Zanna, you know, people tend to name their children after like movie stars and stuff like that. So was there anybody named Zanna or Zanna that was, you know, popular back in the day when you were born, that, you know, movie star or you know, famous person that made that name popular? I just wondering.
Actually, my proper name is Susanna. But for the whole of my life, and I'm getting on now,
Zanna.
I'm getting old. But for the whole of my life, all of my friends, people that know me well, always call me Zanna.
Zanna.
Family will call me Sanna, which is actually quite a Scandinavian name, Sanna.
That's interesting.
But actually, I'm Susanna.
Susanna.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh,
So
okay.
it's just stuck. It's just always been.
Yeah. That's interesting. It helps to know the origins of names. That's quite fantastic. Well, Zanna, you know, we're excited because we get a chance to really see a different perspective. You know, when we bring people who are living in another place and have had a different historical experience, we can understand that our beliefs are kind of shaded by propaganda. I mean, I didn't realize that my education was propaganda until maybe I got to college and start to think for myself. And then I realized that I wasn't given education. I was given propaganda. I was given a way to see the world so that I would believe that Americans are better than everybody else, and everybody else, you know, they have these governments that will kill you if you speak up and say anything that they don't like. So, you know, I was afraid to travel. I was afraid to go to another country because, you know, you hear all of these things that you don't know if you haven't been anywhere, that they're untrue. So we're gonna hear some global talks with Zanna every first Saturday of the month, and I understand that you've got connections all over the world that will give you a chance to have some major guests that will educate us. So tell us, did you always did you grow up in the UK? So what was life like there?
No, well, first of all, I was actually born in Malaysia. So the first part of my childhood was living in Malaysia. And for me, that was normal life, home. Um, and then I think I was 8 years old, and we then came to England to start a life here. And the reason was because my father didn't want to send his children a million miles away to boarding school. So I remember when we first came to England and it was freezing cold, but it smelt like a sweet shop everywhere. I remember it. I remember it vividly. So it's quite funny, really. I've lived ever since in England, part of the United Kingdom. But my parents, they left again. They now live in France. And one of my brothers, he eventually went back to Malaysia, and he never came back. He's been there for nearly 20 years now. So I guess we have quite a kind of globalish connection. Um, so I think for me, I don't know. For me, doesn't really matter where people are in the world. We're actually all equal. We're all human beings. Um, we come from different parts of the world, so genetically we might be different looking a little bit, but actually we are all the same. I have been fortunate enough to do a reasonable amount of traveling in my lifetime around the world. And one of the key points is that, for example, little babies and children, doesn't matter where you go in the world, it doesn't matter what they haven't got financially or what they have got, they are all the same. We're human
Yes.
beings.
Yes.
People, doesn't matter where, adult people, doesn't matter where we come from in the world. Um, the basics of being human is exactly the same. We're all the same. Really, if
Yeah.
you think about it, it's only politics and hierarchy that try to make us separated. That's
Yeah.
all. So I just think that life is actually very short. From the day we're born, we live life, and then the day we move on to wherever. Every day should be something magical, even if it's difficult. So life for every single one of us is peaks and troughs. I think when we're in a low trough, things have gone wrong, things have become difficult for all manner of reasons. It's very easy to look at other people, the way they're living their life, and possibly envy it because you feel there's a level of unfairness. But there isn't. There isn't, because uh, we can then ride the wave and be up high, and there will be people that are in a real trough looking up at us and thinking, why can't I be her, or why can't I be him? But we really don't want to think like that, because we never know. Those people that we look through rose tinted glasses at and think, oh, why can't I be them? You don't know what their yesterday was, and you
Right.
don't know what their tomorrow is.
That's right. That's right.
So
Yeah.
what we have to encourage amongst all of us is to be inspired by each other, to be uplifted by others, to uplift others, you
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
I think that really, since I think that the previous talk about food, is fascinating because
Mm.
that's something, especially in the UK, is coming in very strongly. My daughter is studying nutritional health to
Mm.
become a health coach. Um, our home here, I'm living with my daughter currently, and she is pretty much chemical free, but she keeps on eking it out now. So our world has changed
Yes.
in a lot of ways, not for the better. However, with the birth of the internet, although it has its downside, it has actually connected us all globally.
Yes.
Parts of the
Yes.
world that had made assumptions about themselves are actually saying, well, hang on a minute, we can have that too. So
That's
uniting the
right.
world in this way has become powerful. And if we can use it in the very best way possible, we can do good. We can we can help and become part of improving everybody's lives. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Health,
That is true.
wealth, happiness, and we can leave all the warmongers to themselves. They can do their thing. I don't really want
Mm.
part of it, to be honest.
That's
I
right.
don't watch. I don't watch media news too much because I think
Um,
that it's all the time influencing us as to whose side we should be on. I'm not on
yeah.
anyone's side,
Yes.
really, you know.
Mm.
And I can't control any of the politics. But what I can do is be a part of the army of global love.
I love that. The army of global love.
Yeah,
Yes. That's what we
I
are.
just
The
made it
army
up.
of global love. Hey, all right, let me write that down.
I love
Be a part of the army of global love. You heard it
Yes.
here from Zanna. Yes. That's really where my heart is. And I'm glad that I had a chance to travel different places to really feel the hearts of people. People do not want to fight. People are not trying to start wars or do hurtful things. People just want to live and enjoy life. So we have to not let ourselves be manipulated by fake news. Now, of course, I'm in the news business. We got a news website, we're posting stuff every day, but I really strive to make our news be content that is some kind of way uplifting, people that are doing things that are changing the world, whether it's people feeding the homeless or people that have an educational program for young people, something that gives people hope instead of, violence. Okay, now what good is it doing for me to watch these people beating up somebody? How is that uplifting my mind? I can't go out and stop the fight. There's nothing I can do about that situation. Like you said, you can't do anything about the war. I don't need to keep seeing it replay over and over and over again for me to understand I'm against war. I don't need to keep putting that in my spirit. So I choose not to, even though I'm in the news business. But my goal is to lead other news organizations to a more positive direction, to realize if you don't give people garbage, then they won't consume garbage. If they have a choice between garbage and what's good and healthy, they're going to choose what's good and healthy if it's provided for them. So that's my goal. And I have seen that when people have a different attitude, the whole society is different. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting with China, and Zoe, we've talked about this a lot. Matter of fact, yesterday when I was out bike riding with my friends, and we looked at the trash that the group of people had left all over the park. And I said, now, when I was in China, I didn't see garbage cans anywhere because, somebody said, well, then they need to put more garbage cans out here. I said, well, I didn't see garbage cans on the street in China, but I also saw no garbage. So it's a mindset now. And when I got up in the morning to get on the train to get to the airport, I saw in the downtown area people hosing down the front of their businesses and everything. So it's like I care enough about my space to keep it clean. That's a mindset. And I thought, now what is it that makes people not care enough about themselves? Well, they will choose to live in filth, even though they have an option of cleaning it. And I realized it's what's been done to people, so that they don't have a sense of pride and they don't have a sense of having control over where they live. So they just allow it to be dirty. And then that affects the behavior. If you're living in a dirty environment, it's so much easier to be angry all the time, to be violent, because there's no peace inside. Like Angela was talking about, when you're around beautiful places, beautiful scenery, you don't feel that anger the way you do in these urban environments that are so dirty and unkempt. And we can really change that, but we got to change the mindset. So that's why I think it's good for us to get out of this country and really understand that other people are not living like this. And yeah, we might have a lot of money, but what good is money if you don't have peace of mind? That's how I look at it. Yes. So now, Zoe, you had mentioned a thing that I know a lot of us are not aware. And of course, that's one reason why it's good to know other countries, other cultures, and know what's happening. We've got, was it Chinese Heritage Month being celebrated right now. And we have a very large Chinese community in Chicago. And one of the things that I've observed is that when we expose our children to other cultures and other ways of being, they see themselves differently. And if they can understand that you can go other places in the world and people aren't going to treat you like there's something wrong with you, then you realize you don't have to see yourself as underclass. Because when I went to China and Korea and everywhere, I didn't get, I had no incidents of racism at all. And when I went to London and I saw all of the people from different countries, I said, well, people are used to seeing people who are different here. It's not segregated the way it is in the United States, where everybody stays in their own little place. So, Zoe, what do you think can be helpful for our children interacting more with people from other countries, so that they don't keep seeing themselves as an underclass, underprivileged, they're living in garbage, and they're just getting this reinforcement that they don't matter? How can we help them get out of that mindset?
I think just like Zanna said, we are living in a global village. So the only way is our segregation is man-made. We have to really be aware of that. So we are all right now. We have the freedom to break out this segregation. Even in Chicago, you don't have to go very far to see a part of a world, a part of a neighborhood that actually have people from all over the world. You know, the Edgewater neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I remember when my son was a 4-year-old. So I actually moved over there, and he went to this primary school, elementary school, and they have an annual event to have kids dressed in their traditional attire from their own culture. And then so that's like the showcase of different culture. And then in that event, you actually see people from all continents. So you don't, and it's, I think, very unfortunately in Chicago, and I think all the Chicagoans should be aware of that. The segregation of the part of Chicago is actually detrimental, not only to the people who live in those part of segregated, also people outside it. I was talking to people as the Chicago as institution destroyed the housing market in the south side and the west side. And who's paying for such destruction? The people on the north side that pay higher property tax for elevated assessed value. So there's no normal home need to be built on those
Wow.
places that you can see a block of vacant lot in the south side and west side. So to perpetuate the segregation and the poverty. And the people on the north side, because I see that through when I did appeal my property tax, I see the picture. The people in Chinatown, they pay assessed value probably twice as the actual market value.
Wow.
So there's no development need to be done in the other side because they intentionally devalue the property the property in the segregated neighborhood. So there's no more resources to be put there. They keep intentionally those places in trash.
Wow.
So that's something we need to look into that, and then as a Chicago, we should rise up to that. The middle class should not finance the destruction of the poor and the needy. And that's one thing. And then only when I think also the people on the north side also feel they have obligation to see what has been done to the south side. Very few people travel to the south side to what they only heard about the vacant lot issue, but they do not realize the whole block is being destroyed. I have a friend who came from China, and I took him specifically to see. I said, "Would you hear about Black people, the crime and things?" I wanted him to see what produced such a crime. So I took him to the south side, which is near where the Obama Library is built. I show him behind the beautiful construction of the Obama Library. What's happening in the neighborhood? You just need to drive off to the side street. You see in the block maybe 2 or 3 buildings being developed, standing. The rest is vacant lot. And then you compare to the north side when the house is being so expensive now because the scarcity of affordable housing on the north side. Why? Yeah. When there's plenty vacant lot in the south side and there's scarcity of affordable housing on the north side, everything's man-made, and we need to get out our shells, our bubbles. Like my son keep calling me that I live in a bubble.
You live in a bubble.
But I say I choose because when we choose, because too often we feel there's nothing we can do because the government is so powerful. But guess what? With the internet, with the social media, the people, the college student in Columbia is actually fighting for stop of genocide in Gaza, which is half of the global way. We are all connected. When we connected, we have power.
Absolutely. That's the interesting thing. That's the interesting thing about, like I was telling Angela, this generation. It's easy. I mean, it's an easy way of life for them. It's a normal way of life for them to get on their phone, text their friends, and organize. They can send out a few text messages and mobilize thousands. And like you're saying, that's real power. If they can have a focus on what they would like things to be, they can use that collective energy, that collective ability to mobilize in a few minutes on a cell phone and make things happen. And there's so many things that can be done. You mentioned the vacant lots. Now, we've got a program called Pandemic Farms. Pandemic stands for, we launched it in 2020 when the world pandemic was happening. And pandemic stands for producing agricultural nourishment, developing economies, making independent communities. And what we're seeking to do is take those vacant lots and turn them into food growing places. Now, of course, I'm born and raised in the city, so this was a whole new step for me. But I did a lot of research on the soil, the ground, what makes it toxic, all the chemicals that we dump in it, or the exhaust fumes and everything, how to detoxify the ground, and then to understand the plants that are growing there that are also helping to heal the soil. And then how some of these plants that we've been killing with our pesticides can actually help heal a lot of the major illnesses we have, like diabetes and kidney disease and all that. And I look at all of these vacant lots that is full of trash and debris and how depressing that is. and how that affects the behavior of the people. And I'm thinking, if you could take people and have them produce food growing programs in all of these places that are trash, that will change the mindset. I really believe that. And have the there's a man that's doing that in California. I'm trying to have him on one of our shows, but he started doing that in all the different city properties that were just vacant. At first, they tried to stop him, then they said, "You know what? This is actually a good thing to do." And they grow the food and they let people eat it for free. And I thought, now that really makes sense, because really there is no cost to live. The earth is free. If we would just take care of the earth and share the food, nobody would be angry. Nobody would be fighting. We wouldn't have all of these anxiety related illnesses. So I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to take all of these wasted places and turn them into places you can see potatoes growing and onions and lettuce and just and let people who are hungry just eat it. I just really think that would be a transformative thing for them to experience that. Do they have anything like that in the UK, Zanna, where people um, are doing, I guess what you call urban farming? Growing food next to maybe where there's an urban community.
There's a lot more activity now. I'm very much the country girl, so I'm surrounded by fields.
Oh, that's nice.
That's me. I spend my life wearing Wellington boots. Nothing glamorous in my world.
You sound like my kind of person. That's me.
We have now. There's a lot more. There's a lot more focus on the foods that are not good for us, not right for us, the foods that are. We are now a global society consuming way too much.
Yes.
So I would say, even when I was a youngster, you ate when you were hungry. You didn't just eat all day long, you know. So when you look at young people now, the shape and weight of young people now is very, very different to when I was a kid growing up, 60s, 70s, 80s. And that's not the people's fault. If you think about it, the way these massive supermarkets have just taken over. My mother would shop from local businesses, the greengrocers, the baker. She would buy her meats from the butcher, the fishmonger. My mother worked hard too, but we ate natural foods. It's kind of been taken over now. And I've always said this for a long time. When you go into a supermarket and you stripped out all of the packaging, cardboard, plastic, actual fact, in every supermarket, what's left is very little solid food.
Yes.
That's a non-UPF, Yes. So it's not really surprising, is it? And it's not just that, it's the marketing as well. So if you think about the way foods are marketed, every single one of us at some point in time has been brainwashed. We've been brainwashed to be told that butter's not good for you. What a load of rubbish. But, they wanted to push margarine sales,
Yeah.
It all comes
I
back
don't know what margarine made out of. What is margarine anyway? I have no. Is it like oils or what?
Stuff, it's all synthetic.
Wow.
And you're consuming. It's like I've learned a lot from my own daughter. But I can remember as a young girl in UK, we had the butter mountains because they were telling us, marketing was telling us, oh, don't buy butter. That's not good for you, for your health. You have to buy the margarines. No, you don't. Milk. They're telling us that. If you think about how milk has changed, over the last 30, 40 years, well, that's ridiculous. And we don't even need to consume the milk that we are consuming.
Right.
What happened to just normal water?
Yes, yes.
It's really quite a thing, isn't it? And
You know, I bought a bottle of water the other day, and I looked on it, and it had a label under ingredients. I'm like, ingredients? Wait, it's water. It's not supposed to have any ingredients. It's just H2O. That's it. Yeah. So everything we're eating has some kind of additive thing to it. And we did a show, I think, a week or so ago, about are you eating plastic? Because they're manufacturing fake food in labs, and you don't even know if this is actual things you should be consuming. Because they put some chemicals together and color it up nicely, and we just eat it and never ask questions. That's kind of scary.
well, that's
Yes.
because we can easily be brainwashed. Because if they tell the marketing gurus,
Mm-hmm.
and they're telling us, "Oh, this is good for you," oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's good for me. So if we're easily brainwashed that way, can we be equally switched back? Because
Yes,
it's
that's
the same as
needed.
happening globally in what is termed as third world country, because McDonald's have got in there. Look at
Ooh.
Malaysia, parts of Asia. McDonald's is there. And of course, McDonald's is a global trend for young people. If they actually
Mm-hmm.
realised what they were consuming, and if they actually could fast forward probably only 10 years and see themselves, they would
Yeah.
probably stop instantly.
And
But you
when
see,
I went to
it's a trend. It's how to reverse the trends. And if you look at young people, I talk about Malaysia because I'm connected with Malaysia. But if you look at young Malaysian people now, they're becoming westernized in their shapes and weights slowly.
Yeah, we need
But
that is.
actually, faster than you think.
McDonald's behind. We know what
So
that
it's
looks
scary,
like.
isn't it?
It's very scary. We got to take one last break, and we got callers on the line, so I'm gonna
So
go to our
it
phone
needs
lines.
the other side of the
Yes.
coin. Start shouting out saying,
Yes. Yes. Well, when I went to Korea, I
so it's
was
interesting,
fascinated
isn't it?
because I
What
saw
can we do about it?
we gotta use the internet to our advantage. That's what we have to do. Use the same tool that they're using, just master it and put out the true positive life-giving information to counteract the other information. We don't even have to attack the other people, just give people life-giving information. And then they will choose what makes sense for them. Because when I first saw a McDonald's in Korea, I'm not McDonald's. Oh wow! But then, like you say, that's the lifestyle, that fast food lifestyle. You stop cooking for your children, you send them to McDonald's, and everybody's eating their burgers and fries in their bedroom, and there's no family time. All of that is part of that. And we're not picking on you, McDonald's. We're not, because but we're observing what happens when fast food
Because they're making
replaces.
multi-billions.
Yeah, they're making multi-millions. And it started out with people not having time to spend preparing meals. And so it just became easier to just grab something and go. But now it's become a lifestyle. And then what's in it that we're eating is making us.
Yeah, but do you know what I think?
Yeah.
But I think it's much deeper than that, because I think family life, I think we've all become, in the Western world, our families have been split out. So in our communities, that is slowly losing that network within a community of child with mom, with grandma, with aunties.
That is that I
And
believe that
everybody
is.
played their role, how to feed the family, how to
Yes.
produce Use
I
food
agree.
for the vegetables, boil some rice and chuck some spice in. It's not difficult. But
But yeah,
I think
I
I
agree. I
think
think that's
because of fast food, because of
changed the culture.
I think it's
we've
a
been
part of the
brainwashed to think that we
industrialized.
can't
Yes.
feed ourselves.
Yeah. I think that has really been the biggest breakdown in the society is the absence of a family culture surrounding meals, because that's where a lot of the family gathering is. We got to take one last break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that, because what can women in this generation do to reverse that trend? I mean, we determine what happens in our households. How can we bring back more of a family culture, even though we're all working women, business women and everything, but there needs to be some kind of way where home life is a healthy place where we gather around healthy meals that we prepare because we know what's in it, and we teach our children how to prepare healthy meals so they don't have to rely on the fast food. We're going to talk about that when we come back. We'll be right back, and we want you all to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We're live on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show, introducing to you first new members of our team as we grow and expand and bring you a global perspective. So get ready for Global Talks with Zanna every first Saturday of the month. We'll be right back after this quick break, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Everyone, as a content creator, you know I only endorse products I've personally used, and I 100% believe that Ground News is an essential tool you need to understand this complex world we live in.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
All of its investments. Number 3, the school grants amnesty for the student protesters who have been suspended in earlier crackdowns on Gaza-related protests.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com, www.naimalatif.com.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naim Latif, and we are introducing you to some great new members of our team. Of course, you're going to hear Zoe every second Wednesday of the month, and here are UK connection, Zanna, with success strategies on the first Wednesday of every month. And on the first Saturday, you are going to hear Global Talks with Zanna. And this is something that we really need, because really what we see happening, it's not local. Whatever's happening locally is global because of the communication systems that spread misinformation all over the world. And these devices can be a tool of empowerment or a tool of enslavement, depending on how we use the information and which information we choose to put in our minds. So one of the things that I've seen with the changing of the culture, I mean, you have young women like Angela who are conscious of their health conscious, they're changing their lifestyle, and they're making a difference. And then you have young women who have been raised on fast food, never learned how to cook meals, uh, maybe never really learned how to organize a household or manage a household, didn't learn family life skills. And they're having children now, and they don't have a clue. And I mean, I watched this woman. She was, I think we were at a at a laundromat, and she had a bag of fries, and she had her maybe 2-year-old sitting on the ledge there, and she had them fries. That's somebody that had maybe 2 teeth in their mouth, and I'm watching the child choke trying to chew a fry, and the mother, she's talking to somebody, I don't know, on the phone or whatever, and she kind of slapped the child's back as the child's coughing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, do not let me watch this child choke to death because the mother is not paying attention and feeding them fries and they don't hardly have any teeth. So what can we do as seasoned women to give some guidance to the younger women who are not aware so that they can create a healthier atmosphere for the children that they're raising, that are going to impact this world? And for them to perhaps see the value in things like learning how to cook healthy food for your family. And I'm not saying, give up your career and all that sort of thing, because relationships have to look differently. It's not like, master slave kind of thing, the way it was with women in the past. We know that globally that's what we dealt with. But now that things are changing, we need to fill that role of the health provider for the family with our skills. How do you suggest we help the women who are of childbearing age, bringing children into the world, raising them on fast food, to evolve in their awareness so that they can make some changes?
I think first of all, we should change people's mind that to be rich is glorious. I think people are from very young brainwashed to believe they need to be possess a certain amount of wealth. So everybody joined the rat race of making more money. And then, if you a lot of parents are taking 2 jobs if they are making minimum wage, and minimum wage doesn't give much of decent living compared to certain, other wealth group. And I think, my own experience, when my son was first born, and I was not able to. I have to choose either a job or stay home with my son when he was 4 months old, and I was a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
And then, even though, with a real estate agent, you have a lot of time flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
but you, at the time, there's a conflict. I need to hire a nanny to hold my son while I'm in the office to negotiate the offer.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, and then, at the time, that offer may not produce the final result to earn the commission, but you have to come out the money to pay the babysitter to take care of your son. So, when my son was 4 months old, I decide I will give up my career.
Oh, wow.
So, to just raise my son. So ever since my son was 4 months old, I never worked for anyone but myself. I think at that time I make a conscious choice. Even, I think it's not easy for a lot of family to make such a sacrifice, to realize your child is your most precious accomplishment, rather than the salary the job title or salary or the home you have. Even though, now my son is almost 19 years, a graduate from high school.
Mm-hmm.
I choose to live in a very affluent community, so my son can go to the
good
the
school, as they say.
But he also experienced the
Uh-oh. I think we lost the signal. Oh, she'll be back. Well, as we wait for Zoe to come back, I know I had to make that same kind of a challenging decision, because my daughter, when she was born, and my husband and I, we have a publishing company together, and I know people hear me speaking to them in present tense. I tend to do that even when someone's transitioned. But we wanted to be entrepreneurs so that we, like Zoe was saying, can control our time and spend time with our child, and not have somebody say, well, you can't go and pick up your sick child from school because you're fired if you do. I mean, I didn't ever want to have somebody be able to decide that I can't take care of my family, but they're taking care of theirs, while I'm working for them. I didn't want that. So it is a sacrifice. Building a business is a sacrifice. And then I had the help of other family members. I took her to my sister's house, and so she grew up with her cousins. And a lot of times when I was working on the books that we were publishing and things like that. But it is a sacrifice, and a lot of times it's a survival issue. So Zanna, how did you deal with, child rearing when your daughter was coming up, and you got to be mom, and sometimes you got to help with the finances and work the job. How did you balance that?
This is such a huge subject, because there are so many different situations and circumstances that a mother will find herself in. So I think for having that choice to say, I'm going to stop working and focus on home, is simply not a possibility for some people. And for me, it became not a possibility, because, without going into the depths, my husband decided when my children were small, he was going to part company. He left, and I was left raising my children by myself.
That's the common thing.
I financed my family completely on my own. And there were huge difficulties. There were huge distresses, emotional distresses, monetary distresses. I did do it, but it wasn't easy. And I think it's a subject where we have to be very careful we don't make judgment.
Yes.
Really important not to make judgment. I would always say, and I have had conversations with my friends, my daughter, where the children have been born, and one of my friends, she said, I don't know what to do. My company want me to go back to work as quickly as possible. So I said, well, number one, do the mathematics. If you go back to work and you pay for your baby's childcare, what impact does that have for the better?
Mm.
So she did the calculations, and in fact, with the first child, she worked it out that it would benefit her child if she did go back to work on part time, because she could then pay for nursery, and it was only a couple of days a week, but that benefited her little one. When baby number 2 came along, she had the same conversation. What do I do? The company wanted her to, in fact, take on more responsibility in her working role. Well, she did the mathematics yet again, and she made the decision, no, this time I'm not going that route. She went a different route. And in fact, with a family, my son, I have a son and a daughter. My son, with his wife, partner, they have now a baby. And his role, he's the hunter gatherer. That's his role.
Mm.
He works, he goes out to work, and he brings the money in. My almost daughter-in-law, her role is mother nurturer. She's the homekeeper. However, it doesn't mean she's not capable of doing other work and bringing money in. She works very, very hard from home. But that scenario is not possible for a lot of women. Simply not possible. You have to have that partner husband that thinks that way. So it's how are those women that are not in that position able to cope better? That's the problem.
That is it.
Who's
And that
who's left with the baby? We are invariably.
Yes. Ultimately, we have to be the ones. If nobody else steps up, we have to, and that's where we have found ourselves. Well, we're out of time, y'all. It's so much fun, and we got to go. But we're so excited to have you again, Zanna, and we're excited to hear your perspective. And we're gonna see Zoe next week on Wednesday as we shop with Zoe, and we're gonna hear more about the Chinese heritage celebration, and maybe we'll get a chance to take some people to observe and experience this. I think it'll be a wonderful opportunity. And Zanna, in the last minutes, like seconds we have, what can we expect from you coming up this Saturday?
Oh, well, this Saturday I have an absolutely wonderful, amazing lady coming on to the show. She's a Ghanaian lady who's actually a doctor of medicine. She's an inspirational speaker, a coach, life coach. I could go on, but I won't. I will introduce her on Saturday, and she's going to, let's just say, she's going to be an inspiration.
Well, that is
a
great.
life inspiration.
We've got some comments here. We're going to bring in that caller in the last moment we've got for a moment and give you an opportunity to give us your thoughts. Area code, well, we've got 111111. Tell us, give us your name, where you're calling from, and your comment before we go. And we've got a few comments here online. So 111111, you still with us? Oh, you know what? We've got a little bit of a bad connection, so speak up a bit. Yeah.
Let me try. I'm in the car. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Hold that thought, because you'll get a chance to call in with us tomorrow or even Saturday and talk to Zanna. So, come on back with us on Saturday, and we want you to join the conversation and welcome in our new first Saturday host. And we've got a couple of comments here from our Facebook and YouTube family. Of course, moving around with Deborah, our third Saturday host. She says, God blessing to you all. Welcome our new sister, Angela. Yes, we're going to hear her next Thursday, and we're so excited. And Beata, our Friday and Sunday host, says, Grand Rising, Queens, loving this conversation. So true. We don't need to drink cow's milk, so let's try nut milk. My favorite is macadamia milk with dates, cinnamon, and a few cloves in the blender. I have learned how to make milk. Yeah, we can do that. And Zelda says, macadamia milk and almond milk, a great alternative too. Yes. So we're learning some health tips, and we're going to pass them on to our daughters that are raising children now. And our dear Asada, our Tuesday host, says, Asada from the UK, I love her. Yes, it is. Yes, wonderful. And Zelda, our Monday morning mindfulness host, says, hi, Zoe and Naima. Welcome, Zanna. Looking forward to great shows. Love this segment. Yes, we had fun today. And we've got Beata, our Friday host, says, join me tomorrow on Health and Wellbeing with Beata from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Female Solution. Yes, join us tomorrow. We'll be right on back here for Health and Wellbeing with Beata. And I am so excited because we've got some fabulous women that are helping to transform the world. So I want to thank both of you all for making the world a better place to live. And we will see you all tomorrow. I'm Naima Latif. And for all of those who are listening in and joining in, if you missed any part of it, it's always in the archives. You can go back and listen in and watch. And you can always find our archive video and audio archives on thefemalesolution.com. And we enjoy you so very much. And until tomorrow, we want you to continue to shine your light. And
bye, Zoe.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.